Welcome back to Time Attack. The flags are now green for our practice session to get underway. Here we go. In our new for today format with our Clubman and Club and Pocket Rocket cars all running in the same session, following which we'll move on to our pro classes. For those of us who were watching earlier today, we had the Time Attack warm-up a little bit earlier on. Now we move on to the Time Attack practice. And it's no surprise then to see that it's working very well in the hands of David Dyson, who's been quick throughout his whole participation in Time Attack. Seems like we have a red flag out. I did see the Subaru Impreza fall off the track, the car of Adam Rao on turn 1, Paddock Hill. But he managed to get moving again, and I see that despite that, the red flag is still out. Not quite sure why that is. There was a car in the gravel, the car of Adam Rowe, but he did manage to get moving again under his own power. So I'm not entirely sure why we still have a red flag. I'm just trying to scan the circuit with my eyes and can't see anything currently, but I will keep you posted on that. In the meantime, so I was speaking with quite a few of the drivers about the various builds that they're bringing into this year. One car I was particularly excited about was the THL racing machine of Terry Hills, the number 226 Z33 Nissan. This is actually, it looks like a Tree Fiddy Z. This is actually a Fairlady Z. Fresh from Japan. Well, it was fresh from Japan in 2006. Terry Hills himself comes from a drifting background, and he just thought, look, I've kind of done the whole drifting thing. What can I get now that's going to be nice, quick, reasonably sturdy, that I can use for some speed events, Time Attack, whatever. And he settled on this Z33 shape Nissan, which, you know, all of the M3s, the MX-5s, you know, the usual candidates for building a track car, they were kind of beginning to get crazy expensive these days, at least relative to the past. I mean, this was still the case for the 350Z, 350Z, you know, your S chassis, whatever. This stuff is all getting expensive, but it's forcing people to look around a little bit more than they have done in the past, and to see what other options are out there. Terry Hills then, with his drifting background, thought there's only one choice for me. It's Z33 shaped Nissan. And by the sounds of things, Susie's got an interview for us, actually.
Yeah, I'm down here in the pit lane with Andrew Barber. So, Andrew, do you just want to give us a quick introduction, tell us a little bit about what you're driving today?
Yes, hello, it's Andrew Barber here. So we are just down from Scotland to try compete again for round 3 and 4. Took last year out to rebuild the car after some issues we had. So I'm a bit green, a bit rusty, but we're back today. I'm glad the weather's kind of dried up at the moment. So with the new engine spec in the car, I'm hoping for a good day. So we'll just see how it goes after these guys have been out.
So kind of your local circuit then?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's not a place I enjoy coming, 12 and a half hour drive to come down. So we actually left Scotland yesterday morning and it was glorious sunshine, and we came down here and it was pouring with rain, so it was a bit unusual, yeah.
Yeah, that's the wrong way round, surely.
Yeah, but it is what it is. It's the same for everyone, but the rain doesn't bother me. I quite like driving in the wet, so we have got obviously different preparations for that, but it's obviously nice to get a good go in the dry too. You can lean on the car more, so yeah, it is what it's got to be, and we'll just see how it goes.
So can you tell us a little bit about the car?
Well, it originally was a Evo 9 GT. Back, I think 2006 it turned into a track car, and gradually it's just moved on every year. I bought it in 2014, changed the specs, and I've just tried to gradually moved onto it. It's running pretty good spec nowadays. We've changed it, just obviously everything moves on, so you've got to keep going or you just go backwards. I knew when I took a year out I would have to rebuild the car to quite a higher spec than I'd done before, because the guys that were racing against the last few years have just went crazy with specs. So yeah, we're there now, so I would like this. I don't want to overdo it because it's a brand new engine, so I just want to kind of make this morning session kind of count properly, but then maybe bring it on in the afternoon. But we'll just see how it goes, really.
And is everything running okay so far?
Well, you probably saw we had a little blip in the earlier session, but it was just a simple electrical gremlin. It just earthed something on the side of the car, which switched off the car, but a 5-minute fix and that was it sorted. So yeah, fingers crossed it's all done.
So are you hoping for the weather to stay dry, or are you quite happy if it maybe turns a little bit in the afternoon?
I would like it to go a little bit warmer, just so we can get a little heat in the tyres quicker. Because it's quite a short track and there's quite a lot of cars on circuit at the same time, you don't have that allowance to try and get heat in the tyres. But again, it's the same for everybody else, so you just have to kind of buckle down and get on with it, and we'll just see how it goes.
And how are conditions out on the track so far?
They're patchy. It's there's areas where it's quite grippy, and the next is still a bit wet and green, so it kind of plays in your head a little bit. So you're just trying to gauge where the grip levels are. That last session, a guy's engine let go just right in front of me, so there was oil all over the car too, fluids everywhere. So that was a bit interesting as well. But yeah, hopefully it's all the way now.
Oh, it's all the challenges out there today then.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, but that's what it's all about. So it's just nice to be back, because like I say, I haven't been in it for a year or two now, and I just try to get on with it now and get going.
Yeah, it's great to see you back out on track. It's great to see the car. Looks great as always. Good luck out there today.
Much cheers. All the best.
Thanks, guys. It's it's all been kicking off in the meantime. I can see David Dyson in the Porsche 911 GT3 we were just discussing. He was the first to break under the minute barrier in this session with at the time it was a 56-second lap, something like that. He has improved further still to put in a 54.2 second lap. He maintains his first overall, first in Club 2-wheel drive. Actually just displaced by Neil Greenland in the Mitsubishi Colt with a 53.8. Again, the battle in Club 2-wheel drive resumes between these two unlikely rival chassis, the Porsche 911 GT3 and the Mitsubishi Colt. Of all things, Neil Greenland then absolutely flying to put in a 53.8 second lap ahead of David Dyson in the Porsche 911 GT3. We also saw, those of you following along on your screens, the number 444 Seat Leon of Hayden King. His rear hatch, his tailgate flapping open for some reason. I don't quite know how that happened, and then it closed itself, presumably from the air pressure. But that was quite exciting too. So thank you for that. Thank you, Susie, for the interview. In the meantime, lots of stuff kicking off here as well. Neil Greenland maintains his first place ahead of David Dyson, and then we also have Simon Norris in the other Mitsubishi Colt, a Mitsubishi Colt Porsche sandwich, one that we've often seen here in Time Attack over the past year and a bit. These extremely rapid Mitsubishi Colts battling with the extremely rapid Porsche 911 GT3. Again, sentences that just surprise and amuse me endlessly whenever I say that a Mitsubishi Colt is battling with a 911 GT3 and historically coming out on top. So massive kudos there to both Simon Norris and Neil Greenland in their respective very rapid Mitsubishi Colts. We also have the BMW M4 of Ross Walker being very speedy indeed with a 55.1. A whole bunch of drivers now dipping under the 1 minute lap time. Just towards the back of that little run, then we have Nicholas Stott in the number 44 Mini R58 Cooper S, having just scraped under the 1 minute mark with a 59.995. And Nicholas Stott, new for this year, having formed a team with David Lawrence, so now combining forces to form LSR Motorsport, presumably the L and S standing for Lawrence and Stott. R, not too sure, maybe that's racing, maybe it's Lawrence Stott Racing Motorsport, who knows what the LSR stands for. But the take-home messages, Nicholas Stott and David Lawrence have joined forces now with the Mini R58 Cooper S Coupe and the Cupra of David Lawrence. On your screens now you can see the machine of Tim Bedford, the Richard Henry Motorsport Mazda RX-8. New for this year is this chassis and driver combination. Tim Bedford having used a Subaru Impreza in the past in the pro sessions. And also here you can see the Ford Fusion, a whole bunch of cars just concertinaing into Graham Hill, part of the track that's very difficult to overtake on. And especially, you can just see the Ford Fusion there of the team Confusion, Ford Fusion of Mike Samford. This particular one being Honda K20 powered, I believe. Very fast indeed, and you might recall it ending on top of some of our sessions at Cadwell Park. A astonishingly quick sleeper, though of course the related Ford Fiesta chassis having been done to death by this point. And so Mike Sanford thinking, let's mix things up a little bit and build a Ford Fusion. The Ford Fusion Team Confusion machine, a Honda powered, very, very fast indeed. Let's follow along then with the Club 4-wheel drive machine of Dean Taylor, the RG Motorsport Mitsubishi Evolution 7, hot on the heels of the BMW M3 of Mike Butler, the JC Performance machine that makes a return for this year after a little bit of an absence. David Lawrence there coming into the pit lane in his Leon Cupra. BTCC discs and pads on that machine and running 470 horsepower. Very much a touring car inspired build, running a couple of BTCC goodies and of course a touring car inspired livery as well. And big lockup there coming into Druids from the Mitsubishi Evolution. I think that's the car of Chris Blundell, the number 8 car. Yes, that is the Team JDS single round entry Mitsubishi Evolution 6. Let's see where he currently is in the standings then. The number 8 machine is currently running a 58.9 seconds, so having managed, there we go, third time lucky, having managed to break under the 1 minute barrier, which is already an achievement in its own. A lot of our drivers here having done that so far. And so we see this single round entry Mitsubishi Evolution 6. An increasingly rare beast, and one that's great to see getting thrashed here at Time Attack. Simon Norris then now currently fastest of all with a 52.7, just ahead of Neil Greenland with a 53.3. Both of these guys separated by half a second and driving the Mitsubishi Colt. Sam Pickering then having leapfrogged a whole bunch of cars to come to be running in third at the moment in the Subaru Impreza Type RA. And actually hold all of that because Sam Pickering's just gone fastest of all in the number 661 Subaru Impreza Type RA with another slap of 52.4. Just the same as during warm-up then, Sam Pickering delivering the goods, making the move from Run What You Brung into Club 4-wheel drive and instantly on the pace with a 52.4 in his home brew carbon fiber clad Subaru Impreza. Very quick indeed. Now he comes diving into Paddock Hill, does Sam Pickering, making his way through loads of traffic. And now up into Druids comes Sam Pickering again. Fastest car out on track right now. Up! There you go, there's Sam Pickering. We've got our two Subaru Imprezas on the screen. Our camera crews are like, which Subaru Impreza are we meant to follow? Luckily, they're both together right now, so that makes our task easier. Samuel Pickering, then you can see fastest of all, dives up the inside of the other Subaru Impreza, the machine of Adam Rowe, coming into Paddock Hill. Adam Rowe presumably tiptoeing there. Just approaching it with a little more caution, having already gone off at turn 1 in this session. Samuel Pickering there in the BC Racing sponsored machine. And I believe we've got an interview. What have you got for us, Susie?
Yeah, I'm down here in the pit lane with Simon Norris. So Simon, can you give us a little introduction, tell us a little bit about the car?
I've got a little Mitsubishi Colt, which is in club class. We were in Pocket Rocket last year, but got moved up because our times were a bit too fast. It's just a stopgap for me until my Evo's ready, which is supposed to be this round, but hopefully it'll now be next round. So just a bit of fun in club class in the meantime.
So no changes to the Colt this year, or?
No, a few little things here and there, but really to get rid of electrical gremlins that we had. So they appear to be gone, so that's positive. But no, it's the same as it was last year. Because we race it at Castle Combe as well in the Saloon Car Championship, and they've got very tight regulations. So we can't do certain things which we are allowed to do at Time Attack. So yeah, it's just so I can get some racing while I'm waiting for the Evo.
So when is the Evo going to be ready?
Well, it's supposed to be for this round, but it's not happened, so maybe Alton. Fingers crossed Alton.
Still the same short wheelbase Evo?
Sorry?
Still your short wheelbase Evo?
Yeah, it's had a massive amount of work on it. Complete ground up rebuild, tube car now, more aero, engine position 400mm further back, as much weight in the back of the car as possible. It looks very similar, but underneath the skin it's very, very different, so hopefully it'll be quick enough.
How does that compare to driving the Colt then?
Sorry?
How does that compare to driving the Colt?
Well, that's amazing because it's got aero, so it's completely planted. You turn in, you don't lose the rear. It's got understeers is its primary problem, but whereas the Colt's all over the place. It's sideways everywhere. It's front wheel drive. You've got no traction. There's no aero on the car at all because we're not allowed that at Castle Combe. So yeah, completely polar opposite.
Sounds like quite good fun to drive though.
Yeah, it is fun. You've got to be got your wits about you. Yeah, so it is fun, but I prefer driving Evo because it just sticks to the ground and you're not constantly counter steering and trying to stop wheel spin and other things. So yeah, they've both got their qualities. So.
But going well out there. Good times today.
Yeah, well, I just did a few laps. Felt the car was okay, which it was. So came in early, I think 5-6 minutes early because this session effectively doesn't count, so ready for the next one, then the one after, and then of course we've got tomorrow as well, so we need to kind of make sure the cars are as good condition, as little used as possible until the final tomorrow.
So a little bit of pacing. Are you worried about the weather at all, or how is the car in the wet?
It's pretty good in the wet. It's still tail happy, but it's the same in the dry, but because you've got less front end grip, it doesn't sit on its nose quite so much. So maybe it's a little bit less tail happy in the wet. We run normal Pirelli PZs, whatever they are, the normal road tyre for the wet, so we've got a bit more compliance on the tread pattern. I'm not worried about it, it's the same for everyone, so we tend to go well in the wet, but everyone prefers the dry because you can really push hard then. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, who knows what's going to happen with the weather at the moment? We will see. And good luck out there today.
Lovely, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Simon. Thanks, Susie. Susie is just such an Evo fan. She manages to make all of the interviews about the Evos. Like, I know you're driving a Colt today, but let's discuss your Evo. But Simon Norris, a legend in the Mitsubishi Evo circles. Absolutely, and it's interesting, you know, he just says, oh yeah, just casually threw in a few laps, goes quickest of all two-wheel drive machines, no less, and that's just all in a day's work, just a little bit of fun, as he himself said. For Simon Norris, a little bit of fun is being the quickest. So you wonder how it would go if he took things seriously. Well, we know, because that's when he brings out the Evo and proceeds to be very, very fast indeed. Samuel Pickering then, the fastest club four-wheel drive machine, and Simon Norris, the fastest club two-wheel drive machine. The timing screens are now cleared as our pro cars head onto the track. For those of you following along at home, again, I've mentioned this before, it's worth reiterating. We do have an entry list today that is positively bursting at the seams, which is great news. But I do only have one mouth and half a brain, so I cannot possibly cover absolutely everyone here. So if there's a driver in particular that you are wanting to follow, please just go onto your search engine of choice and type in TSL timing, TSL as in Tango Sierra Lima, and then you can get exactly the same time screen as what I'm using, and it tells you the surname, it tells you the car number, it tells you the car, sector times, all of that stuff. And it's just a great little supplement to the video commentary, the video coverage. You can bring up the TSL timing as well, and just have loads of data at your fingertips about any driver it is that you want to follow. So there's that. It's the same tool as what I'm using. It's super, super handy. Again, you know, I can't get around to all of the cars, all of the drivers, so I do apologize for that. But if there's someone you're particularly interested in following, then I really do recommend you bring up the real-time timing on TSL timing. And that covers the Time Attack, it covers the Civics, covers the TCR. Everything today is covered on one live timing screen, so I really recommend you do that. Speaking of timing screens and video feeds and so on, you may have noticed that somehow we've got BTCC mixed in with Time Attack. Well, what happened was actually Luke Senjakovsky's machine, the Honda NSX K24 supercharged machine that they have lovingly nicknamed Tsuki, is no more for today. You saw a big smoky failure earlier in warm-up, and that has sidelined the Honda NSX. I did mistakenly call it K20 swapped earlier. It's actually K24 with a brand new engine from Born HPP that they built and fitted within a week. And naturally, with turnarounds that quick, sometimes things do encounter teething problems. So the NSX has been sidelined, and instead of that, they just bring out, oh, you know, casually, a 2005 championship-winning BTCC car in the form of the Halfords liveried DC5 Integra. And so that's what Luke Senjakovsky is driving now. I believe it might be his first or second time driving that machine, so there's a little bit of a learning curve involved. But this is the literal chassis that Honda brought to the BTCC in 2005. They entered 3 of these exact cars and proceeded to just clean up. And of course, it was an interesting choice because this chassis of DC5 was never for sale in the UK. And the whole point of touring cars is win on Sunday, sell on Monday, except they could not sell that car on the Monday because that chassis was not available over here. The DC5 Integra as well as the DC2 Integra are known as, by many, the best handling front-wheel drive chassis of all time. And of course, there were lots of raised eyebrows back in 2005 when these cars that weren't even available in the UK were brought along to BTCC to wipe the floor with everything. So it was a bit of a controversial move, one that perhaps some felt wasn't in the spirit of the series, given that that wasn't a car you could just go and buy. But yet, legend was made, and we can see that legend live on here then in Time Attack with Luke Senjakovsky behind the wheel of the Tagiwa Racing-owned Honda Civic Type, oh my goodness, Honda Integra Type R DC5. So if we take a look at the lap time, well, firstly, let's just take a look at the machine of Phil Reed coming up into Druids, the Nismo GT3. New for, well, actually it was new for last year, but I didn't get much running because of COVID and such. But here we can see Phil Reed in the brand new Time Attack Pace Ward machine, the Nismo GT3, driven by Phil Reed. Fastest of all currently then is Colin Dorward in the Track Formula Mitsubishi Evolution 9, the number 151 machine, fastest with a 50-second point 0.005 lap, very quick indeed, just about cracking under the 50-second barrier, which has not yet happened today, but he is off that by just 5,000ths of a second. He is just ahead of Phil Reed in the Nismo GT3 with a 50.5 second lap, just half a second splits these two. You can see the Mitsubishi, sorry, the text on the screen's throwing me off there. The super impressive Paul Doyle, the BC Racing machine, also very quick and currently running third overall and leading his class of Pro Extreme. There he is, and you can see with that rear wing looking very pro and very extreme indeed. That is some serious aero on that machine, the number 45 Subaru Impreza. And he is just ahead of Andy Barber in the Mitsubishi Evolution 9, leading his respective class of Pro 4-wheel drive. Phil Reed then just goes fastest of all with a 49. Both Phil Reed and Colin Dorward dipping under the 50 seconds with a 49 dead from Phil Reed and 49.3 from Colin Dorward. A very interesting battle is shaping up here between the rear-wheel drive GT3 machine of Phil Reed and the all-wheel drive Pro 4-wheel drive machine of Colin Dorward, the 151 Track Formula machine. Just 0.36 seconds between them. And let's see how that battle develops through the day. You can see Paul Doyle just indicating left as he comes into the pit lane. And we can see on the screen, new GTR passing old GTRs. The 35 shape chassis of Phil Reed's passes the 32 shape of Mick Porter. Mick Porter then in Club Pro 4-wheel drive, the number 274 Nissan GTR R32. Phil Reed then barreling into Druids. Around he goes. Can he build on his advantage? It seems like he's done a, well, best Sector 1. Oh, hang on, he hasn't put in his Sector 1 time yet. Let's just see how that goes. Nope, he fails to go faster in Sector 1. Susie, is that you?
Yep, I'm down here with Mike Birch. So, Mike, do you want to give us a quick intro to yourself and your car?
Yeah, so I'm Mike from Tegiwa Racing. Did a little bit of Time Attack last year in the Run What You Brung class, so I decided, right, that's it. My boss Luke, he pushed me towards building my own car. So over the winter, we decided to build the Civic EK. It started its life out as a 1.4, so obviously that engine got ripped out of it. A K20 from a Civic EP3 Type R went in there, set a Skunk 2 drop-in cams, and mapped by Jesse Halford from JCal. So we're running about 250 horsepower, weighing around about 1,050 kilos. Yeah, but the car, touch wood, has been faultless ever since building it. And we obviously did Cadwell and got the first in qualifying there. Sadly, the final wasn't to be with the weather. But yeah, the car feels amazing. We've had no issues with it at all. Goes well, and obviously here at Brands now and done 2 outings now and still feels spot on. Loads of time in the car, loads of time in myself. But yeah, I'm a complete amateur really, because prior to doing the Time Attack, I'd only ever done like 2 track days. So, yeah.
Oh wow, so this is quite a step up for you then.
Yeah, Brands is brand new to me, as well as Cadwell and some of the other circuits I've never even been to. So yeah, it'll be an interesting one, to say the least.
Are you a quick learner?
I think so, yeah. I mean, I managed to get the first in quality at Cadwell, so I can't be doing too bad.
Oh, it seems like you're doing really well. So are you doing the entire season? And do you think you'll be doing, this is the first of many?
Yeah, full season, booked in. So, like I say, as soon as I did the Run What You Brung, that was it. Got the bug, bought a car within a week of doing the Run What You Brung. And yeah, booked in for a full season. Probably be back next year, no doubt. Yeah, it's just a good buzz. So yeah.
And so obviously this is your first year, but how are you finding just the series in general?
The series is amazing, to be honest with you. I can't fault the organisers behind Time Attack at all. Everyone's so friendly. If you've got an issue, you put it on the Time Attack group chat and everyone just jumps to your feet. You know, everyone's there to help each other out, which to me is what it's all about. You know, it's.
So you definitely recommend it to anyone thinking about it?
Without a doubt, get yourselves into the Run What You Brung to get a feel for it. No doubt after that you'll get the bug like I did and you'll be building yourselves a car.
So yeah, anyone watching, it's like, do a Run What You Brung and then it's going to be very expensive after that.
Without a doubt.
And the car's all running fine today, no problems?
No, absolutely perfect, no issues at all. Just done the usual tyre pressure checks and everything like that, all dialed in fine. So yeah, just go out and send it, I guess.
So, and you're hoping it stay dry this afternoon, or?
Yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, I'd say I class myself as quite a good driver in the wet, but no one likes driving in the wet really. So yeah, I'd like to get back out in the dry, without a doubt.
Oh, we have a little bit of background noise here from the BTCC car as well. So, are you just hoping to get a good time? Like you're running well in your session already?
Yeah, well, I've come here with no expectations. Like I say, I am a complete amateur, so I'm not pushing on the edge of anything. I'm just here for the fun of it, really. What I'm doing seems to be working okay with lap time and position wise, so I must be doing something right and I feel well within my comfort zone, which I think is the most important thing really.
And are you learning a lot about the car as you go along? Lots of adjustments you're making?
Yeah, every time I go out I feel something needs changing, whether it be the damping, the tyre pressures. Last time out, front was getting a little bit understeery, so we'll probably drop the tyre pressures a little bit. I imagine they got quite hot then. Maybe stiffen the rear up a little bit to get a bit of rotation on the rear, but other than that, the car feels brilliant. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, good luck for this afternoon then. It's nice speaking to you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Thanks, guys. It's a great car to see here in Time Attack. I always love to see a classic Honda Civic. I mean, it's interesting that it was referred to as an EK if it was a 1.4. So, I mean, I guess back in the day at its birth, it was an EJ shape. But then, of course, with the engine swap and the Type R stuff and so on, it's kind of become more of an EK. But always a welcome addition to the Time Attack fold. And you can see our top two runners then running head to tail. We have Phil Reed in the GT3 car just ahead of Colin Dorrit in the 151 Mitsubishi Evolution 9. Phil Reed then disappearing up the hill. And coming into your shot now then is Colin Dorrit. You can see, seems like he is backing off a little bit. He isn't flying through there. You can see the cool-down lap is flashing on his machine, indicating that he is ready to yield position if needed. Checkered flag is out, meaning that that is the end of our Time Attack practice, both for club session earlier and now for pro. You can see Paul Doyle having parked up and is now walking away from his machine. Let's just run through the finishing order then. We have Phil Reed fastest with a 48.7. Then we have Dorrit in the Mitsubishi Evo 9 with a 48.9. Doyle in the Subaru Impreza with a 51.0. Ewing in the Mitsubishi Evolution 7 with a 51.1. Andrew Barber with a 51.6. Bradley, single round entry in the Mitsubishi Evo 9 with a 53.0. Darren Spooner with a 53.4. Luke Sanjikovsky with a 53.7. Then we have Hughes in the Subaru Impreza with a 54.5. Cherry, the Mitsubishi Evolution 5 with a 54.8. Robinson in the Noble with a 55.3. Alden, 55.6. Wright with a 56.4. Sims, 58.2. Steve Reed, 58.2. Pittman, 58.3. Grendel, 59.3, and Porter with a 104. Broadly speaking, quite close between some of these runners, and it bodes well for a good battle ahead. That does wrap up our Time Attack coverage for practice. We will be back for qualifying later today, which kicks off as scheduled for 1:20 p.m., so we will see you then. And yeah, it looks like it's going to be a good one. So see you shortly.